Good morning, or I guess I should say good evening, because it is 7:44 in the evening here on Goldcrest Valley. We are going to get in a little bit of work before night falls. We have some hungry pigs to feed and water, and I'd like to run over there and get them taken care of before it gets dark out. It's always tough recording video at night. It never seems to come out well. People have a hard time watching it on mobile devices and whatnot. So what I'd like to do is go over and finish taking care of the pigs that we acquired during our last video, and then we'll call it a night and advance time till morning, and then get a fresh early start on some other projects we have going on around the farm. Since the last time we were together, I acquired a little bit more equipment. I got us a sewing machine and a cultivator, mower. We'll be dealing with all that soon enough. But I also got this the cheapest of the conveyors, and spent a little bit of time playing around with conveyors, and that was pretty interesting. You'll see that in action soon too, as we'll need to move some more straw and hay around. However, we already have a forage wagon up at the pig pens. What we need to take up there now is a tipper with some grain, because we need to get these pigs fed. So I have our tipper stowed over here. And we're going to load it up with some of the wheat that I harvested right at the very beginning of this map. Not quite sure how much they're going to take, so we're just going to fill this up and bring back whatever we have left over. I don't have a very good feel yet at all for how much straw or food or water, how quickly animals are going to go through that kind of stuff in Farming Simulator 17, but we'll find out soon enough. Let's see. Don't have anything in our silo right now except for wheat, so we'll need to fill it up just like that. And let's see, close our cover here. And there we go. Since episode 1, like I said, I've acquired a little bit of equipment, and I've also plowed one more of our fields. So now we have 2 out of our 3 fields plowed. One more, and we can get started on some fertilizing and sowing here pretty soon. Just taking a little run through here. You can see our mower that we've acquired. Typically in Farming Simulator, my first option would be to go for a butterfly mower that we can attach to the back of our tractor and drive around. However, since we're not doing any baling here at the start, because we're a little too poor to get all of the equipment that we need to do baling properly, I actually got a front mower that we can put on the front of our tractor, and then we can put our forage wagon on the back and sort of do 2 things at once: mow and collect our grass in a forage wagon. Usually I don't do it like that, but it'll make things a little bit easier for the time being, and until we can invest in some better equipment. Like I said too, we got ourselves a cultivator and a sewing machine, and I think that's about it since the last time. Got a shovel to match our pallet fork there. And let's see, where is the little road I'm looking for? It's just behind this vehicle storage here. We'll try not to drive over the grass too much. We're going to go back to the pig pens, but not on the road that we took last time. We're actually going to go up kind of through the mountains a little bit. This wagon isn't too heavy, and I think we won't have trouble. Going up a little trail through some hilly territory that's kind of pretty, especially this time of day. And we'll end up at the pig pens when we get to the other side. This is the field that I plowed since the last video. Got one more to go. Probably either do that off camera or do a time lapse, because plowing can take a while and can be a little tedious to watch. And this tractor is having a little bit harder time on the hill than I expected, but fair enough. It is a full trailer of grain that we have behind us. When we get into doing a little bit of forestry work, this is going to be a good place to start. Path kind of forks here, and up here, if you're familiar with this map, you already know that there's kind of a ranger tower type structure up here. That's pretty cool. And a pretty nice view. We'll stop here for just a second. I won't waste time climbing the tower now, but I will turn off this way. I think I might have edited in a shot of this nice view during my last video, but it is awfully pretty, especially when there's a sunset happening. But sunset means that it's going to get dark soon, so we don't want to spend too much time dilly-dallying. Instead, we should be getting our work done. So let's head down to the pigs. There is a water supply right here that we may or may not take advantage of in the near future. Water seems to be pretty plentiful on this map. Aside from the natural bodies of water, there's a trough near our farm, a trough right here, and I believe there's a water tower near the road, not too far from here, so plenty of places to get water. But since we have the tipper attached, here we are at the pig farm. Let's get these pigs fed, and I think that probably picked the wrong one here. Let's see. Oh, this is the straw dump point. Let me just make sure I know which trough is which here. This one looks like the water, so food's going to be on the other side, so we can just keep continuing around the pen here. Past the slurry pit and manure storage, and you can see here, this is where I've dropped off some equipment already. We have our water tanker and our forage wagon, just waiting for us to use them here. So I believe this is our food trough, so let me pull up options here, and let's see, we probably want to tip out of the grain door so we can fill the trough with a little bit of precision here. So let me turn around, and I'm gonna have a hard time backing up this trailer, aren't I? Because of the axle setup. Let me go around this way. Trailers like this are always a nightmare for me to back up, because the front axle pivots like it does. I'm sure I'm not the only one with that problem. Well, we could probably just dump it right here. Let's see, unload. Let's see if this unloads in the trough like it should, or if it's going to just make a pile on the ground and cause a huge hassle for us. Cross your fingers. There we go. Looks like it's going to fill up pretty quickly here. Alright, that only took about a quarter of our tipper. Remember, we have 9 pigs, so if that takes a quarter of our tipper, we could, looks like we could feed up to 40 or so pigs on one trailer of grain. That's good to know. Make a mental note of that. But for now, we'll pull this trailer off here in the grass. Let's put the cover on it, just in case we leave it for a little longer than expected. And we'll go over here and get our water tanker. This is not new to Farming Simulator 17, but I always love how the animals will come over and start eating when you feed them. I believe that at least the cows did that in 15, unless that was just a modded map thing. I do remember animals coming over to the trough when you fed them. They'll probably come over here and get a drink too. They've been all day without water. Been a little unkind to them, but we'll remedy that right now. And That didn't take much water at all. We're down to 87% water in this tanker, so it's going to be nice and easy to keep them hydrated. And then we will drop this trailer as well. And let's do the last thing we need to do for the pigs to get them in prime shape here to get nice and fat and reproduce. We need some straw for bedding. So we'll grab the forage harvester here, the forage wagon. Not forage harvester. I wish we had one of those. We'll grab the forage wagon and haul it around here. And I believe I can dump straw straight out of a wagon like this into the pig pen for bedding. I hope it's not going to make me have a shredder. Let's see. Alright, cross your fingers again. And that'll work. And that took hardly any straw at all. We're not going to have problems with running out of straw, it seems. That only took 9%. So, okay. I was expecting it to take more water and more straw, but that just means we have more in reserve and more to sell for a little bit of profit. And let's see. I think I'm actually going to keep the forage wagon here and keep the water tanker here, because since we don't have any sheep or cows yet, I have no other real need for those right now. I don't know, we may do some grass mowing before it's time to feed the pigs again, but we'll see how it goes. I'll just leave it here for now. And then we'll take our grain tipper back to the farm, put that extra grain back into storage, and get on to tending to our fields. Sorry if I sound a little rough today. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm kind of hunkered down with a cold, and I figured it would be a good day, despite my voice, to do a video. So a little less nasally and a little more gruff today. I hope you can forgive me. Alright. That's good enough. We're not really cramped for storage back here, so we'll leave both of those things there. And let's go deposit our grain back into storage. I guess we'll take the back road back down to our farm. Our trailer should be a little bit lighter now, so we'll handle the hills a little bit better. Yeah, it'll be fun to do some forestry up in here with all of these nice trees on the hillside. I'm always a little hesitant to make too big of an impact on the sort of default scenery of a map, because we can plant saplings, of course, that would grow into new trees, but I don't think they're going to be the same types of trees that are already here. I don't think they're going to be these big pine trees. And I always hate to kind of deface a map too much when it gives us such a scenic view, but we'll have to find a balance there. Here's our other water trough, the one that's on our own farm here that we can use to refill our water tanker if needed. And almost back to the silos. This field here is the one that we're going to need to get plowed before we can do any other field work. But I think we'll probably wait until the morning for that. And like I said, I'll probably do it off camera here, or at least in a quick time lapse, so you don't have to sit through all of it. And I'm going up completely the wrong side. I don't want to fill this tipper. I want to empty it. So, circle around here. and very carefully climb up this ramp without getting any of our wheels stuck in the space in between the ramps here. And should be able to empty here. Let's take our cover off, and we can switch our tip side to just tip out the back or one of the sides. Let's just do the back though, rather than out that tiny little grain door. And I think this will do it. And good morning again. It's a real good morning this time, since it's 5:30 in the morning and not sunset. And we're up bright and early, and we're going to jump on our truck here and head back over to our New Holland tractor that has the plow on the back and get going with some field work. We need to get that last field plowed. We're going to do it really quickly here, first thing. It's going to be extremely quickly for you because I'm just going to do it in a very fast time lapse here. And that is our plowing done. About a third of the way into that field, I was thinking about how my tractor felt a little bit slidey. It wasn't handling as well as it did during my last plowing session, and I realized that I forgot to put my weight on it, so I had to run back and put my weight on the front of that tractor. And after that, it handled much better. But I did a couple of headlands at the end to get rid of the stubble at the end of that field, so it's in perfect shape. And now we're back here at the garage here for some changing up of equipment. We have our new cultivator on our very, very, very dirty New Holland, and on our Ford 8340 with the crop row tires, I have put our front loader. I'm not super comfortable having a front loader on the tractor with these tires. I feel like it's going to make it pretty unstable if we lift anything too heavy, but we're just going to use it to lift a seed pallet. So let's hop in here and see if we can get our a sewing machine filled up. I have not used a sewing machine yet in FS17. I'm eager to see how it's going to go. I think that we do have the option to open the cover, so we're going to do that here. So now it is opened up and ready to receive seed. Empty right now. Let's go grab our first pallet of seeds over here. I'm very curious to see how quickly our sewing machine will go through seeds out in the field. If this is something that we might be able to use one of these pallets to fill a field. Oh, get in there! Don't spill on the ground. There we go. I'm curious if one of these pallets might take care of a small field like the one we're about to seed, or if it's some situation where we're going to need, you know, a dozen of these pallets. I have no idea. But I think we're all filled up. This pallet is down to 29%, so that means if we empty the sewing machine out in the field, and we're not almost done, we're going to need another pallet. So we'll have to head into town and we'll buy maybe 6 or 8 or 10 pallets for future use, depending on what we think we need. But let me shut off the Ford here and go back to the New Holland. It looks like the cover automatically closes when it's full. That's nice, I guess. Start it up here. We're at 100%. 700 liters of seed. And we're going to head out to the field. So, what are we planting today? Well, we're going to be using one of FS17's new mechanics that I'm really excited about. We're going to be planting oilseed radish. This is not a crop that we're going to harvest. It's a crop that we're going to grow for a little while and then plow under. And it's going to give us a, well, not free fertilization cycle, because we do have to pay for the seeds, but it is going to give us a layer of fertilization from something other than just dumping fertilizer on the field. So, shaking things up a little bit, striving for realism as always. And let's see, I think I am going to turn on GPS with this, just to keep our rows nice and straight and to prevent us from wasting too much seed out there with overlapping rows. And let's see. I think we're probably okay on that. Try to get it as straight as possible there. Alright, I think we're ready to go. We can haul this sewing machine with a fairly small tractor. It's a small implement to begin with, but it also has those supportive wheels on the back, which is pretty nice. And let me get rid of that, and let's lower it. Lower our implement and start the seeding. And the texture of the ground behind us will change to sowed ground here. I was actually going to, as I said, probably mere minutes ago, I was actually going to put a layer of fertilizer down before I sowed, and I got so excited about thinking about sowing that I completely forgot, and I just remembered. So, it's no big deal though. We're going to put the seed in the ground, and then we can go back around and do a little bit of fertilizing as soon as we're done here. Keep it tight. Maybe we could just do one headland at the end to tidy things off, and then we'll be done. So we're going to sow oilseed radish in all 3 of these fields, and fertilize, and let it come up, and as soon as it's ready, I'm not sure exactly how many stages it has. If as soon as it appears, is it ready to plow back in? I'm not sure, but we'll cultivate it back into the soil. I'll do my research in the meantime while it's growing. In between fertilizing today and putting the radish in the ground and cultivating that back under, and one more application of the spray fertilizer once the crops are sprouting up out of the ground, we will have maxed out this field's productivity and hopefully get a really good harvest. This is a much quicker process than plowing because we have a wider working area on our implement. I think this is a 3-meter sewing machine. For our first harvest, because we're focusing on the pigs first with our livestock, we do need to get some corn out of the ground, so we have some corn to feed them. And we need to get some protein out of the ground for them. So we'll probably do soybeans, because I'm excited about that new crop, something I haven't tried before. I'll do soybeans in one field, corn in one field, and a grain in our third and final field. I'm not sure which field will be which yet, though. This is our smallest field here, field 15. We already have a little bit of wheat in our silos, so I'm thinking we may just make this our grain field this time. Maybe we'll sow barley in this field. Put some barley in storage, save it up for when there's a great demand at market sometime. And in the meantime, feed the pigs out of our stores. We'll feed them whichever we have more of, wheat or barley. And thankfully we are using seed quite slowly. We're still at, I mean, we have almost half this field done, and we've only used 5% of our seed in our seeder. So that's nice. That means I'm kind of looking forward to the fun of loading the big bags out in the field, but it's kind of nice that that'll be a once in a while thing and not an every 10 seconds thing. I'm sure with some of the bigger pieces of equipment that gets more challenging, keeping those stocked up and full. But this little sower seems to be working well, and our tractor seems to be handling it well, so that's a good thing. No unexpected challenges here. We'll be able to sow all 3 of our fields on this one pallet of seed, which is good. We sacrifice a little bit of realism, switching seeds on the fly. We don't have to, empty the current seeds out of our sewing machine and reload a different type. There's only one type of seed in game, and you just change the setting of the sewing machine to whatever you want to plant. So a little bit of a realism sacrifice there, but that's the way it's always been in Farming Simulator, and it's not too bad. Just taking a look at our map here, I'm just kind of thinking about how much seed we're going through. I think that field 15 here is about maybe a little bigger than half the size of our biggest field. Field, what was it, field 12 up there? Field 12 is a much bigger field. Yeah, so this is this field alone might be about a quarter of our arable field land. Of course, before too long, we want to acquire some new fields. I'm really hoping to get my hands on 16 and 19 first, those 2 fields just to the south and or southeast and east of our farm. I've been doing a few missions here and there when I'm not recording, and a lot of the surrounding farmers have been offering me a lot of missions, but the owners of that field 16 and field 19 have been offering me significantly fewer missions than some of the other farmers around. So my standing with them is not nearly as high as some of the other folks around town. Of course, in FS17, the more jobs you do for other farmers, the better your reputation gets with them. And when it comes time to buy a field from them, the better deal that they'll give you. And we do not have a lot of extra cash lying around right now, so we want to try to get as good of a deal on land as we can as we move forward here. But I'll keep stopping by their farms and stopping by their fields and seeing if they have missions available from time to time. Talked a little bit about my thoughts about the mission system last episode here. Not entirely sold on the idea of getting so much money for doing so little work, but it is helping us out quite a bit. I mean, I've done, I don't know, a dozen missions here in this game so far, and we're still just getting by with really basic equipment and not a lot of extra spending cash. So it's clearly not some kind of god mode or something in the game. We're still having to scrape by and work for every little piece of equipment that we want to own. Which was my main worry, that it would make the game kind of too easy, throw too much cash into the player's hands. And it doesn't seem to be doing that, so that's okay. And we're down to 90%, and we're not quite done with this field yet. So I'm guessing that we'll end this field at 88% or so. So that means 60, 40. Yeah, we might not get through. We might not be able to sow radishes and then sow our actual crops on this single pallet of seed. But it shouldn't. If we have to. Oh, maybe it'll last. Maybe we can finish it out using the remainder of that first pallet, though. Maybe we won't have to buy a second pallet right now. What did we have? Like 35, 37% left in the pallet, so I think we'll be in good shape. It's not like having to buy an extra pallet of seed is the end of the world, but it's kind of nice to just have it taken care of and not have to run to the store. And one more time up and down, and we should be done. After we get this field done, I think we're going to call it a day. We're probably getting... I didn't time things out too well with the time lapse in advance, but I'm probably getting up toward half an hour, and I like to keep videos around half an hour because my upload speed is so abysmal. If it gets too much longer than that, it gets to be a real nightmare to upload. So we'll probably call it a day after this field. I'll probably go and sow at least one of the other two off camera. Maybe I'll just sow them both so that next time I see you, I can actually fertilize, which I told you I was going to do this time, and then I didn't. But we'll get to it, don't worry. And we'll spread some solid fertilizer and watch as our radishes sprout up. And like I said, we'll cultivate them under, plant our next round of seeds, spray some fertilizer, and hopefully get a very productive, very lucrative harvest. Alright, let's do a headland real quick, all the way around here. I guess I don't really need it on the sides so much, but definitely need a headland at the ends here to clean up our... Ooh, there's some frame rate fun times. Let's see, are we done with that? Alright. Hopefully that was just the game bugging out for a second, and not my hard drive filling up or anything like that. One more trip down this way, and then we'll clean up that little strip that I missed earlier. And then we'll be done. Just like in 15, I occasionally don't hit my shoulder button in time and accidentally hire a worker for a couple seconds. My tractor will take off and I realize that I won't have any control and be like, what is going on? So I hired a worker and didn't even realize it. Alright, one more pass here and one little spot that I see that we need to clean up a little toward the center of the field there. And we will be done. Alright, where was that spot? Right here. And that's that. We have seeded our first field in Farming Simulator 17. Granted, we've seeded it with a crop that we're never going to harvest. We're simply going to cultivate it back under once these radishes pop up to enrich the soil. But we've seeded it nonetheless, and we'll be on to other tasks soon enough. We got to do some fertilizing. We'll have to cultivate these radishes. We'll have to plant some other seeds and do some more fertilizing and then some harvesting, finally. Lots of tasks to do, lots of episodes to come. I had some fun today, despite being a little under the weather, and I hope you did too, and I hope you'll join me again for our next episode. Be sure to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and yeah, I'll see you next time for some Goldcrest Valley Realism. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.